What's up? My name's Sherm. This is the Green Machine, my 1977 Volkswagen Bus. I've been her owner for going on 11 years now. Crap, that's a long time. As you can see, I've done a lot to her. Now we got something else coming up. In 2 years, me, my soon-to-be wife, Lily, and our two cats, Simon and Beverly, are gonna be living in Green. And we're gonna be traveling all over the US. I'd say there's like one problem, but it's really a bunch of problems. Green isn't ready. She's not at all. All right, let me show you what's up here. So if you look around in the front here, this thing's drivable, okay? It's really nice. I love how everything looks in here. We're probably gonna end up keeping a lot of this stuff the same. The steering wheel, right? Okay. This thing, I wrapped up myself. This was the original steering wheel that was on here. I sprayed it. I wrapped all of this nice twine around here. Now it's kind of falling apart, getting stuck in the steering column. It's no bueno, as some would say. My windshield wipers don't work. She starts, she runs, kind of. I'll get to that later. Some instrument clusters in here, so I've got like the oil light, the battery light, and the blinker and stuff. The old gas gauge, it works, but like halfway. When I first started driving Green, I was in college, and I lived like 3 hours from my college, so I drove her up and down like all the time. The thing that wasn't nice was my gas gauge used to crap out at like half, so half a tank was full. Just on empty was half a tank, and the rest was just a mystery. So I've run out of gas a lot. My odometer does not work. I tried resetting it, and I tried like gluing back together some gears in the back of it. It broke less than a mile in, so not the best. Then I have on the far right side where the clock usually goes, there's a clock that goes there, is my aftermarket gas gauge. And that thing's hooked up to my fuel sender unit, and it works great. Then I've got this little lever over here. This is my AC right here. This is where all the fans and vents come through. I don't have any fans. So you only get breeze coming through if you're driving. So there's my AC system right there. I've got my headlights and my bright switch. Those guys work, period. I mean, you turn on and off. It's not that big a dealio. Then I got my horn right here. I had to build one in because my actual horn doesn't work. This horn button here, it's not hooked up to anything. It's because I couldn't run the ground wire all the way through. I didn't know how to do that. So I just hooked up this little push button, and it works really well. Now I've got my hazard switch. That guy works just fine. I've got a little heater element that doesn't do anything. I tried to hook it up to something. I forget. And then I have a little 12-volt outlet that's just hooked up to my starter, so I can run it when the car is on and I'm not draining my battery. And let's go ahead and look at the dash. So the dash I'm actually extremely proud of here. So this is the original dash that came with the bus. It was originally black. It was black pleather, and I didn't like how it looked, so I sprayed it white. Still didn't like how it looked, so I just sprayed some glue adhesive on it and then wrapped it in burlap. And it's so nice. And you can see I put little pins in it. I have them all taken out right now because I'm fixing to redo her. But yeah, it really is nice. It's a lot of character. And I think it just looks, it's so beachy. I love beachy look. And then I have this little space holder for where the radio goes. It's right here, this guy. It's really nice. And then we have the emergency brake here that doesn't work. Doesn't work. We got the shifter, all the pedals and stuff. This is a manual. I learned how to drive manual. This is a 4-speed with reverse. I'm gonna set this up. Ignore the rat's nest, please, thank you. So, this is neutral right here. This is first gear. Super loose, it's in first gear. It's rough. And then second's back, it's a little H pattern, you know? Okay, I just went through all the gears. So it's first, second, third, fourth, and reverse. Let me do that again. You gotta push it. We push it into the floor and then back to where second's at. And that's reverse. Strangest thing. Strangest thing. That's reverse. Thank you for coming to my little reverse gear TED Talk. That was impromptu. But that's just, these cars are so weird, so strange. Let's get back to the rest of the front here. So we've got my little side panel doors here. These things, I've got my little window crank, you know. This guy works all right. Got the door opener, right? And then I've got a little handle here that I just kind of screwed into this to make it easier to close. And then down here, I've got this little basket here that just holds bottle caps. It was supposed to be better, but it ended up not working so well. It's not deep enough. Then we got the nice little floor here. I am very concerned about this floor here. These license plates, they look awesome. However, before I put the license plates in, the original floor was covered up with this like sheet metal and glue stuff. I am willing to bet whenever I go to tear out this floor in the front, it's gonna need complete replacement. There's no like, oh, little patch, scratch. No, it's probably gonna be completely rusted through. I've looked at the bottom of the bus and it is not good. It's bad. Where I have all my pedals and stuff, there's little holes and things, you know, there's gaskets made for that, but I've never had them. So the way that I want to do this front here is I want to have it like a cockpit almost. So I'm going to have like a unit that comes up like right here. I want to have it split the inside here. I want to have a wall right here that comes up to where the emergency brake is, and have just like a little, like a rectangle that comes down to block all this in, so I don't have to worry about it like in the hole and whatnot. And then it also encapsulates this vent here because I don't like how that looks. And so I want to make like a nice little kind of separation between the passenger area and the driver's area there. And this would give me like an opportunity to put some like, I don't know, some like extra storage right here, or make some shelves up underneath here, or there's so many things I could do, you know. And I think making it super just like cozy would make me really happy. But before I get into all the aesthetics and things, you know, it's like there's all this rust in here. We got to tear this thing completely apart before we start doing anything hashtag van life, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead, work our way to the back here. Excuse the mess, this is my daily driver after all. So with the back here, I got some soccer stuff, don't mind that. Got a stool, I was using that to help record earlier. And then I've got this guy here as part of the cabinet. So this back area is set up for camping, set up for living in here, because I lived in here at one point. It was for a short stint of time, nothing super glorious. I was at a campground and I was parked in one spot. I wasn't like traveling all over, but it was a neat experience, and I built all of this specifically for that. So all of this is coming out, just keep in mind. But yeah, here is the back. So first off, we've got Blue Eddy Max, AC200 Max. This thing was glorious. This is my big old camper battery. I might end up using that, I might not. I don't know what I want to do for my battery system yet, but that is something I'll talk about a little more later. With storage stuff, I've got a little cabinet underneath here. I had a fridge that sat right where this black thing is, and it came across out to here. Fits super nice. I'll put up a picture of that. This Blue Eddy, it actually has, it's on a little rail here that pulls out, but it's broken. I had something to charge it from my alternator, but that's not working anymore. So I'll usually just bring it upstairs and I'll charge it up if I'm ever gonna do anything in here. Over here, I've got my little food storage area. This thing is really nice. It was actually just supposed to be extra storage. Ended up becoming my food storage area, and it works really well for that. Honestly, nothing's broken with it. It just kind of, it's got to come out with the rest of everything because it's all built in. None of it's no build. Now this guy, whoa, this guy right here, this was a computer setup. I do a lot of gaming. I am a hashtag gamer, and I wanted to make sure that I had a gaming setup in my van. My monitor would pop up out of the counter here. It would lock in. I'd pull this bottom bench out as a seat and I'd straddle it. I'd have my laptop up on the counter over here, and I had a drawer within that pull-up drawer that would pull my keyboard out. And then I just have my mouse on the side. And it worked really well. I would pull up to our little multi-use like rec area at my work, and I just hop off of their Wi-Fi, and I got really good Wi-Fi. I could play all my games and stuff, and I didn't have a single problem until my bench started bending. I'll talk about that right now. So here is my bench. So this guy folds out into a bed. He's my couch, and yeah, so this piece just comes up. I've got a little bit of storage up underneath it. The thing that makes all this work here was the camper bracket, the camper bench bracket from Bus Depot. I think it was like $300 something. That sucker broke. Yeah, right here. It broke. I tried JB welding it back together while I was out there. It never worked after that. It'll still fold up okay, but I'm gonna need to completely remodel this entire back bench. I'm not gonna keep any of this. So we have a little storage area right back here. This was the library. I just kept a couple of books in there. It's a little extra space that would have already been blocked off if I just put some stuff over it. But Luan coming off, so it's gotta go. And then I got a lot of garbage back here. Yay. I've got some pictures of my little cabinet back here. This was where I kept all my clothes. And then up in the top left there, that is actually where my nightstand is. That's my little nightstand. It's got an outlet there that hooks up to the Blue Yeti, and I've got my two little drawers. Those were for socks and underwear. And I'll show you why this needs to go. I can't get to anything. I can't get to anything. So how am I supposed to put a bed down right here, get ready in the morning, and then open my cabinet? Oh wait, I can't. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Not the best. Well constructed. I did a really good job. I'm very happy with how this turned out, but it's not functional enough for me. If we work our way back around, we've got where I fill up the gas. That's neat. And we have the engine. I've got dual carbs in there, one on each side, and this is a pancake engine, so all of the cylinders point outwards. Really strange engine, but these things are freaking bulletproof. Like, I'm running on probably 3 cylinders right now, the way it's sounding, but it's my daily driver, and it's getting me around. I've tried diagnosing the problem before. I know exactly what it is, and I've not been able to solve it. It's an air leak, but I'll go more in depth on it later in a future episode. And then I got my spray can. This guy I'm really happy about. It's just a little decoration I put on my coil. It's really funny looking, and a lot of people notice that whenever I open up the engine bay. They're like, oh, it's a spray can. It's like, yeah, it's cool. And then back up in there, that's my brake booster. That guy just helps me brake because my brakes suck. And then I got my battery over in that corner. Here's the UPS truck. Goodbye, sir. And if you look up in there, there are those weird like pin things. That is for a fuel injected system that I don't have in here. The computer's worth a lot. It's like a big block that comes out, and it's worth a lot of money, and I've always wanted to keep it just in case I wanted to go to fuel injected. I might, because fuel injected is a lot more reliable than carbureted engines, but I know how to work carburetors better than I do fuel injected, so that's something I'll weigh in the future. Now, we come on over to the front here. You can see we got a lot of rust. Lots of rust on the girl. Yeah, that's the first thing you notice, not the windshield. I had a rock just fly up at my face. It sucked. I was so sad. Yeah, so windshield got to be replaced, obviously. Then we've got a lot of kind of paint rusts behind there. We've got cracks in the paint down here. The bumper is doing fine. Here on the front, I have a lot of body work that's gonna have to be done. I did body work on this a long time ago, and all of the Bondo in here is thick. It's really thick. And you can already see that dent right there. The Bondo shrunk the first winter that I had it. And it made me really sad because everything looked super clean and super nice, and then it just sucked in. So I've got a lot of redoing of that stuff. I might end up just completely replacing the front here, the whole front bonnet. That's what they call it, the bonnet. Spare tire in the front. I'd love to have one of those tool kits that sits on the inside of them, inside of the tire. Just a nice little place to put some tools, save on space. I eventually want to move up to 15-inch tires. I've got 14-inch rims here right now, and they look like tiny little donuts, as you can see. Another big thing that I want a high top. I want to be able to stand up in here. That is a huge thing for me. That's a huge thing that I'm gonna want. I want to have an AC unit in here because the cats are gonna be in here and I want them to be comfortable as well as myself while I sleep. I'm gonna have solar panels on the top. You know how that goes. I do get really bougie, so I'm gonna end up making a lot of like cool lights and everything. And other than everything wrong with the bus, there's a lot right. I love the color. I love the way people scramble to get their phones out whenever I'm driving by. I like making people smile on this thing, you know? It's gonna be really fun. So yeah, here's the start. Follow if you want to see this thing grow into a crazy, mean, green van life machine, baby. We're gonna do this. We're doing this. We're doing this. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.